Saw 10's coming out, Saw X, whatever it's called. Saw Twitter at this point, who knows. I just wanted to review this movie because it's the next one takes place between the first and second one, I believe. I know he dies in the third, and they constantly bring him back in different ways. They really wrote themselves into a corner with that. I don't think they thought it'd go for 6 more movies after 3, though. So that's what happens. And, Tobin Bell has been great whenever he shows up in these movies. The movies kind of fall in quality. Like, I still think the first one's the best. I haven't seen them all, but from what I understand, the consensus is they kind of get worse as you go along. 1 and 2 are the ones I know the best, so I'm going to talk about those a little bit. Mostly 1. I just watched 1, and that's what this review is going to be about. My original plan was to review all 9 movies, but since this is just a prequel, they're bringing Tobin Bell back. The movies are better with him in it, so I'm kind of glad that he's alive and doing his thing, but it kind of sounds like he's almost a main character, so I think it's going to be a weird way. We'll find out next week. I'm definitely going to do the review. I'm going to be in Vegas that week, though, so I will be probably doing a review from some hotel room. Hopefully not too messed up while I'm out there. I'm out there for a week, so that's going to be a week. A week's going to take years off my life, so Saw 1, I believe, came out in 2004. James Wan movie. I believe they had the idea for it and they shot like fan film style, like a short. They just kind of showed what they wanted to do, and that's how they got it greenlit. Now, I think the original Saw is a great movie. I'm going to start off saying that. And what really impresses me about it is I'm usually not a big fan of movies that take place in one room. And a lot of this movie is just 2 guys in a room. It's hard to pull off. Like, I remember Devil coming out, and I wasn't a big fan of Devil. I know some people love it. Some movies do it better than others. I mean, I don't mind a movie that takes place in small areas, but sometimes just one room and being with just 2 characters, they really have to carry the movie. Obviously, though, the original Saw was a very low-budget movie and went on to make a huge amount of money, so much so that it used to come out every October. And here we are, still on the 10th one. It hasn't been rebooted yet. I'm sure eventually that'll happen. They tried going a different way with Spiral. I like the idea of Spiral, that they were going to go with more of the thriller element, like Seven style, that the original Saw was, because I don't like the torture porn stuff as much. I love the original Saw with the whodunit, just kind of like Scream, and it's got some messed up moments, but I feel like they kind of go overboard in some of the sequel. And again, I'm a huge fan of Seven. I kind of wish Spiral was more Seven than what Spiral was. Saw, though, the franchise is a little bit of a victim of its own time. It started in mid-2000s, and that's kind of how horror was. You had Hostel, Texas Chainsaw remake, Devil's Rejects, so it was very mean-spirited torture. That's what was in, just like before that, where zombies were huge, and then it gets overdone and then moves on to something else. Like right now, we're in kind of the requel. One of my favorite parts of the original Saw is, I think, Danny Glover is amazing. He plays a cop detective that gets kicked out because he gets obsessed with the Jigsaw killer tracking him down. I kind of like to think of him as the same cop from Predator 2, just no one believed him about the alien, and he just kind of loses his mind and gets obsessed with this like killer, and it's just all these like messed up things happen. Or from Lethal Weapon, maybe he just changes his name to try to avoid all the crazy stuff, and it just keeps following him wherever he is. It'd be fun. I'm sure there's a way to link them together or somehow out there. Someone figured it out. Back then, there really wasn't any movie like it, and there really hasn't been something since. The closest I could say is probably like Seven, with the mystery and the intrigue, and I love movies that do that and keep you guessing. In Saw, once you know what's happening at the end, it makes more sense. It comes together. But there's nothing like the first time you watch it. And you spend so much time in that disgusting bathroom. In one of my old bits, I make a joke about it. I make a joke about a bar that I used to go to in my local area, that their bathrooms look like the Saw bathroom. Really worse, to be honest with you. More dead people, too. And what makes the bathroom work so well is the 2 characters, they kind of know each other, but not really. Their lives kind of cross, and they're both kind of shady people in their own right. And Jigsaw's games are kind of turning them against each other. They don't know who to trust each other, and there's a random dead guy in the middle of the floor. That's part of it too. There's other people helping Jigsaw, and you don't know that there is. You don't know who is. You don't know what Jigsaw's intentions are and how Jigsaw got them together. And speaking more of Danny Glover, is he really overacts, and it's great. It just kind of drives home he's completely lost it because of what Jigsaw's done to him. And the traps they find, like his partner, the shotgun traps, pretty brutal. Just, you never know what you're gonna find and get into on the other side when you think you have them. Jigsaw's obviously known as a serial killer, so you kind of see the aftermath of other kills he's done. You see the guy that had the barbed wire and cut himself open and bled out. Traps are vicious, they're brutal, you wouldn't want to be in them, and you're always thinking, like, how would I get out of this situation? And there's not many movies that do that to you, you know. Usually it's like, run from the guy, don't go to the second floor, don't investigate that sound. But this one's just like, you wake up and this is what you're faced with. Like, what would you do? How would you get out of this? How do you get out of the reverse bear trap? You saw your own leg off with a rusty saw. I think what really makes the original Saw work is Jigsaw's such a great villain, but you don't really see him. You see him through recordings. You hear his idea of the game and why he's doing it. It's very simple, but also smart at the same time. I think the franchise loses that as it goes on, and I kind of think they lose the idea of Jigsaw because he's supposed to make these people better, make them play the game to overcome and get the chance he can't get. Man, they showed that eye trap from the new one, so I think the new one's gonna be pretty brutal. Hopefully it's good. We'll see as quickly as the second one. I think they kind of lose the idea where some of the traps later seem impossible, and I don't think that's the idea. I think if they kept going with this idea of Jigsaw and didn't kill him off, I think the franchise could have been a lot better. I only remember the first few. I'm definitely going to revisit them. I'll definitely review some more of them, but the first one it's really impressive what it came from. It's everything I'd want to make in a movie. Something like that would be awesome. Something that is scary, makes people think. The mystery, I love putting a good mystery. It's really impressive what some people can do with like a small budget and just an idea, and really cool movie. And I took forever to come back to it because I saw the second one first and I was just like, you know, I'm not like super into it, but I watched it and thought it was okay, it's fine. And I've seen some of the cool traps in the other ones. I think they definitely, in the other ones, if the movie's not as good, I think they do some cool traps. There's definitely moments throughout. Just like the Friday the 13th movies. Like a lot of really cool moments, and that's what you watch them for. You know, a lot of fun, and hopefully the other Saw movies are fun. I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to go through them all. But the first one is a good movie. I have friends and family that are horror fans that really like the first movie because, I mean, it is kind of gross and scary, but like it's not as bad and it's not going for total gross out. So I think it's a really, really awesome movie. I think it's one worth owning. Definitely check it out if you've never seen it or haven't watched it in a while. It's a great movie to watch during this time, and this is how we're kicking off Camp Creepy this year. So expect more horror reviews, expect some horror games and some more reviews on them. So we'll get to all that soon. One of my favorite times of the year. I can't wait to watch some more scary movies. Tell me in the comments what your favorite movies are to watch this time of the year. I definitely need to watch more, so, and I need to talk about some more, so definitely recommend some below, and see you in the next one. Game over. That ending is just so great. They really couldn't have done that better. I could have done mine better, but you know,